Welcome to the Grow Your Business and Grow Your Wealth podcast with Gary Helt. Gary is an expert in helping business owners put together a plan that will provide a better future for their businesses, themselves, and their families. On the podcast, Gary interviews other professionals who share his vision, and together they share secrets and strategies any business owner can use to build a better financial foundation for your business and your life.
Hey, welcome back to the podcast. This week, my guests are James Ray and Bear Ray, and they are the owners of Harmonic Wealth Global. Welcome, guys.
Thanks, Gary. Thank you for having us.
Yes. So, guys, tell me, how did you give me some background? Tell me how you guys got where you are now with Harmonic Wealth Global.
You want to start? Did you want me to go?
Yeah.
We went through a lot of struggle first to get to where we are.
That's an understatement.
You want to take it over from there? I'm not sure where to dive into. You go ahead. Hard work.
Yeah.
So Harmonic Wealth Global is a second edition of what used to be. Yes? Would you say that?
Meaning?
From where we started. Let's say if you own a business and you start fresh, which is, I would say, a good point to start from. But when we got together, we had to restart something that was built to the top, 500, and I'll let him get into all that. From the top, crashing all the way to the bottom, and then having to rebuild it, which is a completely different story than starting your business anew.
With a scarlet letter.
With a scarlet letter.
Which made it even more difficult. I went from the peak to the pit in a nanosecond. Anyone who knows about my history, I really was blessed. I built an Inc. 500 company. We were doing over $10 million a year. It was called James Ray International at the time. Big mistake. Don't name your company after yourself. Because when legal issues come after you, it's hard to not pierce the veil when your name's on the door. It's really a big ego boost sometimes, but it's not smart. So nonetheless, my company and I were involved in a horrible accident, and I lost everything. Not only did I lose three people that I really loved and cared about, and you can flesh this out with us if you'd like, to the degree you'd like to or not, but I also lost my Inc. 500 company. I lost my life savings. I lost my home. I lost my reputation. I lost all my friends and colleagues, which, as a listener, viewer today, please listen to me. You want to hope, one of my mentors said to me, you hope that people stand with you when things go sideways. They won't. Now, that doesn't mean they're not good people or that they're bad people. They may be either or, but most people are dealing with so much of their own issues that they don't have the bandwidth to deal with yours. And all these individuals disappeared just like mist. And so that hurt a lot. And so I ended up, and this was before I met Bersabeh, I ended up in 2013, I was standing in the middle of the desert in Arizona, and I was homeless. I was alone. I was in horrible physical condition. I had periodontal disease, and I was $20 million in debt. That was 2013. And so I had to really get my head and my heart in alignment to decide what's James Arthur Ray 3.0, I call this, which implies there was a 2.0 and a 1.0.
Right.
3.0 going to be about. And as I dug deep, I began to realize, Gary, that wealth is not what you have. True wealth is what you're left with when all you have is gone. Now, I know that might not resonate with every single viewer, but whether it resonates or not, it's true. Your true wealth comes out in the time of trial. Your true wealth, your strength, your backbone comes out when you are in the crucible of challenge. It doesn't come out when you're at the peak and you're making multiple millions of dollars every year and you're, some would say I was famous and in my genre, and everyone supposedly loves you. It comes out when all that's gone. What are you really made of? And so I had to dig deep. And as I dug deep, I realized that I had to find true wealth. And that true wealth is what we now call harmonic wealth, which is not balance, by the way, very different. And we can talk about that if you'd like. Balance is rubbish. It really is. Those people who are talking about balance aren't balanced because it's not achievable. Harmony, on the other hand, chosen intentionally, is dynamic and it's more like life. It ebbs and it flows. And also, if you trace the word wealth back to its origins, it literally translates as well-being, not money. Most people define it as money. And unfortunately, and I've worked with a lot of millionaires, multimillionaires, billionaires. Some of the most unwealthy people in the world that I've met and worked with are people who have a lot of money.
Right.
Because the only people who worry about money more than the poor are the rich. And you say, how is that, James? Because the more you have, the more you have to lose. And so I find consistently that these individuals who have a tremendous amount of money are running on the hamster wheel, worried and frustrated and concerned that they're not going to be able to uphold their very healthy, financially healthy lifestyle. And Harmonic Wealth has 5 pillars. And again, I'm still standing in the desert in 2013. And those pillars are financial. That's one of them, but it's only 1/5 of the equation. Please understand. Financial, relational, mental, physical, spiritual. And as I continued my self-contemplation, I realized, hey, James, you still have the mental, emotional wealth that you've always had, maybe more so given what you've been through, because we become more in challenge. And so given what I've been through, I had maybe more mental toughness and emotional strength than I'd ever had. You still have a spiritual connection. However, I had defined it in a certain way and you define it in your way. I'm not qualified to define it for you, but I still have that, maybe even more so than I've had before, given what you've been through. What you're experiencing right now is a temporary setback financially, relationally, and physically. And so I made a decision, Gary, in that moment that I had everything I needed to get back up. And that's what I did. And it was very shortly thereafter I met Bersabeh, and I'm no longer alone, obviously, and I'm no longer $20 million in debt, thank God. And we're not homeless as we come to you from our studio here in our home in Henderson. And so I'm incredibly blessed. And that's what Harmonic Wealth Global is all about. And I'll just tell you, we have 3 values and then I'll stop. 3 fundamental values that we operate from: consciousness. If you look at any fundamental change in the world, whether it's globally, nationally, or individually, it comes from a change in consciousness. So many movements that have been successful came from a change in consciousness. So consciousness is number 1. Second one is communication. As a leader, what we must do is we must be super clear on what we're about and why we are about that. And we call that purpose. And then we must be able to communicate that clearly to our team. And if we don't have a team, then we have to communicate it to the market, and we have to do it again and again and again and again. And then finally is culture. Culture are the collective beliefs, values, and assumptions of an entire organization. A relationship has a culture. A business has a culture. A country has a culture. And so when you look at the fundamental drivers of behavior, which are internal, not external, and you can bring about a shift there, which is a big part of the consulting work we do, is cultural assessments with businesses. Then you can shift behavior. You shift behavior, you build habits, and you build different results.
In going through all of this, obviously, when you were in the middle of the desert there, that has to be one of the lows of your life. What was it that triggered in your heart, your head, that really was the driving force to say, okay, I can do this again? What was it that was able to push you to do this again?
2 things. Primarily is purpose. We are very clear on what our purpose is. And our purpose, it's interesting, Gary, because I'm not a consumer on social media. We create social media and we put things out on social media because we have to, but I'm not a consumer. And yet I happen to see an ad today. Your content is not created correctly to attract customers. And so let me work with you to create content that attracts customers. And I thought, that's ludicrous. Is that your objective, to attract or followers? He was saying, is that your objective, to attract followers? Or do you have content because you have something to say? And if it resonates with someone, then it will attract them. If it doesn't, then it will repel them. And that's okay. We're really clear that we're not for everybody. And we're okay with that. A friend of ours told us recently in a podcast interview, we were interviewing him for our podcast, and he said, the best people out there don't have the most followers. And I tend to agree with that, because those people who are creating content just to get followers are disingenuous. They're disingenuous. And so I knew my purpose. I knew why I believed I was here. And this may sound a little Pollyanna to some viewers, but I believe it nonetheless. When they asked Michael Jordan, why do you play basketball? He said, because I believe God sent me here to play basketball. Now, that's a big claim, but I feel like I have certain gifts and I'm here to utilize them fully and completely. That was number one. The second thing, and this is more of a application or methodology, is Harmonic Wealth. I wrote my New York Times bestseller, Harmonic Wealth, in 2006. And I'd been working on it. This crash and burn happened in 2009 through 13. And I'd been working on those 5 pillars since 2006, really diligently. And I fundamentally know that if I had not been doing that, I would not be here today, besides Bersabeh, because Bersabeh was...
Thanks.
No, seriously, she believed in me when I couldn't yet believe in myself again. And she saw something in me, because when she met me, I was sleeping on my mom's couch and $20 million in debt and 54 years of age. And that's not a real attractive prospect. And so you can ask her why.
Really?
That's a catch right there.
Yeah. Boy, I want some of that. You can ask her why she did that, but nonetheless, she saw something in me, obviously, and realized while I was in a financial setback and a physical setback, horrible physical condition, broken, and yet, and I didn't have a relationship at the time. I was totally alone. No one was there to support me. Not one person from my industry that I was a part of even reached out or sent a text to say, hey, how you doing? Hang in there. Nobody. And even though those 3 pillars, if you will, we call those the 5 pillars, were not present, I still had mental, emotional, and I still had spiritual. And I felt, and again, that's an application or a methodology. I felt because I'd worked on those for so many years, that they were strong, and I was able to withstand the storm and to get up and fulfill my purpose and to go after it one step at a time.
Now, for both of you, how does your physical and personal beliefs tie in with your business beliefs and how you do business?
Ooh.
Go ahead. Very tightly.
Yes, very tight.
Why don't you talk physical, because that's a big area for you.
The physical, we eat very clean. We work out pretty much every day. It's very important. It's a big part of what we do, because we have to represent. I guess we don't have to, because a lot of people do, unfortunately. But we have to represent what our business is about. If we're not walking our own talk, we're not in alignment with what we're doing and what our business is. And that's a big part of our business, is to clean up your diet. You need to eat clean. You need to take care of your body. You can't be smoking, drinking, doing drugs, or any of that stuff. And we live by those rules. Those are our fundamental rules that we live by. And we also believe that you can't really awaken to your full potential until you do that. And that's the first step we take with our clients in the programs that we teach. Is the very first step is how you take care of your body. Because if you don't have the energy to be able to run your business like you need to, you don't
And go the long hours,
and
which
go
you
the
often
long
have
hours,
to do.
you won't last. You always feel tired. You may give up on your business, and so it's very important. And the other part was physical. Then what was the second
Your
part?
personal values.
Oh, personal value. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess we got pretty, I wouldn't say lucky because we work really hard at it,
Yes.
but we have the,
Luck has nothing to do with it.
yeah, we have the same personal values as we do for our business, and which is really important because we work together too and we're married. We treat our relationship and put the amount of time and effort into it like we do to our business. For example, every year we sit down and we write our values for the year for personally and for our relationship. And for our business, we do a check-in. And how we
This
do it
weekend.
this weekend, we do a quarterly check-in
Mm-hmm.
every year for personal values, relationship values, and our business to make sure that it's how we do, and then we grade each other on it. So
And sometimes we don't pass.
so yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes, and
Doesn't
sometimes
happen
we
all the time.
Sometimes we disagree. We grade ourselves on a 1 to 5, 1 being horrible and 5 being outstanding. And sometimes I will say, I think I'm a 5 in this. And she'll go, I can't
You're
agree
more
with
like
you
a
on that
2.
one. You're more like a 2. Okay, why? Tell me why. But that's that second C, if you will, the
Mhm.
communication piece
Yeah.
that is so vitally important, not only in business, but in relationships and in your personal life.
Mhm.
And principles are cross-contextual. You
Yeah,
know,
we schedule everything,
we schedule everything.
but even our personal relationship, just like meetings, it's on the calendar and it's scheduled. And we have our time, which is scheduled like for the relationship. Every morning we have coffee together. That's like a set meeting and breakfast.
Yeah.
And then we have the time when we go into our office and our meetings and podcast, things like this. That's the business side. Then we have the personal schedule out too. And unfortunately, a lot of people come together because of common interests.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where they get it wrong and relationship goes south because it's not about your common interests, it's about your common values. If you don't share the same values, you're both going to go in separate directions. Same thing applies to your business as well.
And let me just say, for the entrepreneur in the audience, the same is true. If you're going to hire a team member, then it's not about common interests. It's not about, oh, I love what you do and let's do this. I can't tell you how many times ad nauseum I've heard that, oh, I love what you do and I want to be a part of it. It's about common values, and our values, like Bersabeh said, sometimes we articulate them differently, but they're very different. And maybe you heard some of this if you read between the lines in my, hey, put out content because you have something to say, not because you're looking to attract followers. Our values are things like morality and integrity and living to high principles and virtues and being a good human being, because you can be the most financially successful person in the world. And if you're not a good human being, what does it all matter? And I learned this, Gary, when I was supposedly worth north of 20 million and I had all this fame and fortune and I had an Inc. 500 company and a home in Beverly Hills on Mulholland Drive and all of those things. And they were gone in a heartbeat, literally within 3 months' time. It was gone. I had to say, I've invested my entire life chasing this ghost, chasing this empty vessel that could be gone in a heartbeat. Maybe I need to reset. Maybe I need to think about what's really most important, who I want to be first and foremost, and then what I want to contribute from that being, if you will. And that's the things we work on with our clients. And as Bersabeh said, when I work one-on-one with someone, one of the first things they typically come and say, I want to make more money.
Of course.
Okay, I know how to make more money. We can help you make more money. And if money is your problem, please listen to me. If money is your problem, money won't solve your problem, because money is not your problem. Money is an effect of a deeper problem. And what is probably the problem is something psychological, emotional, and you don't believe you're worthy of it. You don't believe you're capable. You don't believe you have the skill set. You think you're too old. You think you're too young. Whatever. There's a whole host of these kinds of things. And then secondarily, as Bersabeh said, we get into physiology because it's very difficult, maybe next to impossible, to perform at optimum levels when you have a toxic body. If you're not eating high performance fuel, you're not going to perform high performance. And a lot of times people say, I want to make more money. Okay, let's get going. Now, Tom, I want you to write down everything you eat every day for a week. What does that have to do with money? Everything. If you want to make a lot of money, it takes time to do that. There's a gestation period. It takes time to make a lot of money. I don't care what Facebook or Instagram tell you. There's very few, if any, make 3 million in 3 months. A lot of people tell you that, but it's just not true. Work 3 days a week and be a multimillionaire. I know so many multimillionaires. I was one of them. And
It works 7 days a
I
week.
worked 7 days a week. And I was on the road over 250 days a year.
Yeah.
And I was getting 4 hours of sleep on average. And that's not today. And I don't recommend that. But that's what it took for me. And so consequently, you're going to work hard, but you're going to work hard regardless. You're going to work hard doing something that you love, or you're
Right.
going to work hard doing something that someone else loves so that they'll pay you to work hard. So either way, you're going to work hard. Get over it, particularly if you're in the really younger generations. It's just that's just part of it. I see people whining on X, formerly Twitter. Oh, I can't shoot in a video. I can't work an 8-hour day. I just can't work I'm like, please, you're never going to be an entrepreneur. There's a romantic idealism.
To work for yourself is easier.
To work for yourself is easier.
I think anybody who owns a business will tell you that's not true.
Oh, yeah.
Let me tell you where the other romantic idealism is. Oh, I want to work from home and work with my mate
Yeah.
because it's so romantic. It's not,
Go back and look during COVID when so many people were at home with their mate or companion or whatever, and how many of them are together now?
Yeah,
There was a lot. I think a lot of people found out a lot of things, being that they thought that they had the same values and same interests and stuff like that, and they found out that they didn't. I definitely think that there was a lot that came from the pandemic, and I definitely think that was one. And like you said, with the younger generation now, with the okay, I only want to work 4 hours a day, 3 days a week type thing, is you can do that, but don't expect to have anything.
Yeah.
That's right.
Because so many of them are thinking, okay, I'm coming out of school, and this is where I get frustrated with things, was during that time, because there was a student loan forgiveness. They were giving out unemployment money that people took that had never worked in their life, that they were taking the unemployment money, didn't have to pay tax on it. There were so many government loans and everything that were given, and nobody had to pay tax on it.
Except for us.
And it's going to come back, and it's going to come back and hit us, because
Yeah.
we're going to, the next years, I don't care what side of the political aisle you're following, when you give that much money away, we got to get it back somehow. So,
Yeah.
and the way to do it is, and here's taxation. So, that part's going to happen. We talked before we came on there about work-life balance, and how we both believe that there is no such thing as work-life balance. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Absolutely. Do you want to take
There is no such thing.
Yeah. Let me give you a visual, and then Bersabeh, you can
Okay,
talk.
sure.
Look at a scale in perfect balance. Now, Gary, let me ask you, what's happening here? The answer is nothing.
Yeah.
Right.
Boring and nothing.
Please put
Right.
it in your notes as a viewer. In perfect balance, nothing happens.
Yeah.
Life is not like this. Life is dynamic. And that's why harmony is a term that we intentionally chose, because it's more like an orchestra. It's sometimes they're leading with the woodwind, sometimes it's the bass, sometimes it's the drums, sometimes it's the brass section, but they all come together to create this magical tapestry called the music.
Mhm.
And that's really what harmonic wealth is: harmony and well-being in the 5 key areas, the 5 pillars of your life. Now, that doesn't mean that you're investing in each of them equally.
Right.
So, for instance, Bersabeh and I normally work about a 12-hour day, and we get up super early. We're morning people. I get up at 3 a.m. every single day, including today. And there's a reason for that. And we can talk about that if you like, but it's part of this harmonic wealth. And we get everything done. People ask all the time or say things like, I don't have time to work out. Yes, you do.
Right.
It's just that you don't value it. There's that word. You don't value it.
Stay off of this and the social media, and that gives you a ton of time to get stuff done.
That's right. Or
sure.
get up an hour earlier, and you can imagine how much you can get accomplished. And we get it all done, and part of that is through scheduling. Bersabeh mentioned it. We schedule everything. Bersabeh, I'm really blessed. Gary, she's a great cook. She's really a great cook. And we got out of the habit of going out to eat in 2020. You mentioned 2020. And we eat most all of our meals, with very few exceptions, almost none, at home. And so Bersabeh can tell you what we're going to have for dinner 4 nights from tonight, because she plans it.
Right.
And she has it scheduled out. When we go to the grocery store, she has her little list, and she knows exactly how much lettuce we need for our salads, exactly how much.
There's no guessing.
There's no guessing.
Right.
I mean, we zip in and out of Whole Foods, and we happen to order our meat online.
There's a lot of discipline in our life, which I think the viewership should take note of that, because
Good point.
most people go to the grocery store, and this is a mundane example a little bit, but not really, is that what do I feel like having? What do I feel like making? What do we want to have? What are we craving? Ours is very much strict and disciplined on what we eat. So I have everything measured out, not measured, but counted out to know what salads, what meats, and that's it. There's no, oh, I feel like this, I think I'm going to have that. We don't do that. And discipline plays a big role in our personal life, and it's a cross contextual, so in our business as well. You have to be disciplined. You can't, like a lot of young people say, oh, I have to work 8 hours, I don't have time for my life. Okay, define to me what your life is.
Right.
What are you missing out on? Watching Netflix or scrolling through social media? I don't understand. And they won't be able to tell you. That's the problem.
Right.
Yeah.
Invariably, when I have people break down, my clients that I work with break down exactly how much time they spend in every activity every day, and we add it up for a week, they end up with an inordinate amount of hours left over. And we're taking things out we're taking 8 hours out for sleep, we're taking all of those things.
Right.
And they still have an inordinate amount of hours left over. What are you doing with these? I'm watching Netflix.
Or I'm playing
Okay.
video games.
What's the ROI on that? Oh, what's the ROI on an hour on TikTok? Not really good, not really high. And so, as a viewer, I'd encourage, if you're taking notes, write this down. This will change your life. Discipline always precedes dominion. Discipline always precedes dominion. And if you look at the greatest geniuses throughout history, and I've done a lot of study on people of genius. I'm talking people like Tesla and Leonardo da Vinci and Picasso, and the list goes on. These people were very disciplined people, incredibly disciplined. They had a schedule, and they stuck to it. Now, that rubs a lot of people wrong, because they go, oh, I'm a free spirit, I don't want a schedule. Okay, you be a free spirit, and when you come to the end of your life, you have a tremendous amount of regret, because you didn't accomplish, and you didn't even come close to a fraction of your potential. But here's the magic, is that, again, this is almost without exception, when we can encourage someone to get scheduled and to get organized, they find out they have way more time than they ever thought they had, because they're not spacing off onto social media. They're not spacing off in a daydream or wasting a lot of time on frivolous activities. television. Bersabeh and I only watch television twice a week.
We watch podcasts.
We watch podcasts for our news on Friday
Yeah.
night and on Sunday. Sometimes we watch a good documentary. We don't watch movies because movies are an indoctrination and we don't want to go there. We want to keep our head on straight. We want to know what's going on in the world and we want to know what we can do to help contribute to consciousness, communication, and culture. And so we're really disciplined about what we listen to because music indoctrinates as well. And I'm probably turning off a lot of viewers right now.
Yeah, you might not want to go that extreme. Very extreme.
But
This is what we do. We have to.
But let me tell you this, is that we didn't get here overnight.
No, we did not.
We've been together 11 years. And when you go back to we first got together, we ate out, we drank, not extensively, but we used to like
Wine
a
with
good
dinner.
wine with dinner. We haven't had a drink in 3 years. And we cut that out. And we ate a lot of Italian food. We don't eat starches anymore because those spike your insulin level, which puts on weight, and then it drops you like a hot rock. And so your energy is up and down and up and down and up and down. And so now come forward, not fast forward, but step by step forward for 11 years, we're here. So we don't expect anyone to come to where we are right now.
No.
But the reason we got here is because we felt the benefit. We took this out of our life and put this in. And we went, wow, I feel so much better. We took this out and put this in. Wow, I feel more energetic. The recent Gallup poll, Gary, maybe you've seen this, says that 43% of the people surveyed are too exhausted to perform in their daily work. 43%. Now, that's, if you think you're going to climb Mount Everest being exhausted, you need to think again. And Mount Everest is whatever your business is going after. You're going to have a lot of energy. You're going to have to be fit. You're going to have to be strong. You're going to have to be focused. You're going to have to be disciplined. So everything we're talking about applies to a relationship. It applies to your personal life, and it applies to your business.
Yeah, I think having clarity does a lot for you. That's for sure.
Truly.
So covered a lot of stuff so far. What have I not asked you wish I had? That's probably pretty, a lot of questions there too.
What have you not asked? I know I'm horrible at these pop-up questions.
I would say you haven't asked us about the gift that we want to give your viewers, and you haven't asked us about how to get in touch with us if we haven't turned off every one of your viewers with
If
this.
you're still interested.
With this disciplined lifestyle. Let me tell you something. Success is hard and true wealth is difficult, but it's worth it. It really is. What's harder and what's not worth it is coming to the end of the life with a tremendous amount of regret. And I can't do that.
I also think that one of the biggest lies that's been told is that you have to get to a point where you're comfortable and you're going to retire.
Oh,
That's
good.
the moment you die.
Right.
Don't do that. Live an uncomfortable life. Be uncomfortable. That's how you grow. That's how you reach the things you want to reach. That's how you have a successful, booming business. You always get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
You're never comfortable setting records. You're only comfortable doing repeats.
Mhm.
Anytime you're setting records, you're uncomfortable.
Right.
And if you're uncomfortable today, congratulations, you're in the right place. And like Bersabeh said, get comfortable being uncomfortable because that's how you continue to grow and expand.
Yeah. And if you're still listening, you could find a free gift.
We like to give your viewers a copy of Harmonic Wealth, my New York Times bestseller, an e-copy for free, if that's okay. And
Definitely.
Sure, you just go to harmonicwealthglobal.com/book and you could download your free copy there.
Great. Great. So if people do what they hear, besides going on and getting the ebook, how can they reach out to you guys? Where can they find you? You said you have your own podcast. Where can they reach out to you guys?
You can find us all over social media, and also you could go to harmonicwealthglobal.com and they could reach out to us and we will do our best to get back to you for sure.
Okay.
we
Great.
won't do our best. We'll promise you that we will. We're disciplined. and we'll get back to you. So
There's like 2 people left now.
answer your text messages and your emails. That's another.
Yes, that's very true. Guys, I really appreciate your time. Really appreciate what you had to say. I think it's pretty impressive how you have really have brought yourself back after having such a hard time and being able to be resilient. Congratulations with that.
Thank you.
Thank
for
you.
having me.
We appreciate you having us and keep doing great work.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, guys. Everybody, this week, our guest was James Arthur Ray and Bear Ray. I will see you guys next week.
49 faces looked to him in triumph. Over the last 12 months, they had each taken turns and promoted his business for a week at a time, driving over $987,342 in revenue. What if you had a network of 50 centers of influence who promoted your business every week for a year? Grab your copy of the #1 Amazon best-selling book, The Ultimate Guide to Growing Your Business with a Podcast, at 33% off the Amazon price by going to ultimatepodcastbook.com. Again, that website for 33% off the Amazon price is ultimatepodcastbook.com.